Hospital Porter's Pride and Dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to her Panwo TV. And welcome to part 3 of my film, The London Stones. Right, I should begin by apologising actually, because this little film has not been as good as I hoped it would be. Firstly, you know, the original two were a bit, not quite how, didn't come out quite how I liked it, part 1 and part 2. The first one was, as I said, filmed in the middle of Cannon Street, as you know, if you've seen it. Now that's not the best environment for filming, I can tell you, on a weekday, especially. There's a lot of background noise, there's a lot of people around, it's very difficult to get good camera angles and good sound recording. It's you know, London itself is quite a tense environment. There's, you know, I felt you're always under constant scrutiny. There's always people walking past you. It's not an ideal shooting location, I must say. So this is why the London Stone video, the first one, didn't come out like I wanted it to. Also, I was disappointed we couldn't get inside to see the stone from the inside. Now, as I was explained in that film, it used to be a sports shop, and you could actually go into the shop and there was like a plate glass window which was clear and you could actually see the stone through that. Now that shop's gone, it's all boarded up, and as you saw, all you could do is get a very, very, very bad view of it through the very dirty glass on the street side and the cage around it, the little grill. However, now what I've done instead is the reason I wanted to film that stone, and where I first found out all about it, was from a video called Standing with Stones, and it's a documentary about the megalithic sites of Britain, a kind of tour of them all, a bit like Julian Cope used to do. And this is the DVD of it. There, see, Standing with Stones, a journey through megalithic Britain, and this is a brilliant, brilliant DVD. It is on YouTube, but it's worth getting this DVD. It's only a few quid because there's a lot of extra stuff on there, which is not on the not online. So I'm just going to play you a very short segment of that film, which is all about what we saw at the beginning of this little video. I'll just put it on full screen, and here we go. If I can get it to work. Come on. Doesn't seem to want to work. Let's just try again. Now it's playing up. Hang on. Come on! That doesn't want to work. I'm going to refresh it. This always happens when the worst possible time, doesn't it? Come on. I need to unplug. Oh, come on. I'm not shooting this all again. Let me just unplug. Sorry about this. We'll get there in the end. Here we are.
For thousands of years.
Okay, it's coming up in a moment.
But in and around towns that have been changing constantly for hundreds of years,
I'm not going to risk full screen.
The land has been progressively divided into smaller and smaller plots, so structures were pulled down as their relevance in society.
Here we go. Right, come on. That's it.
It's easy to see how history covers its tracks, especially in
Hope you can hear all right.
The constant redevelopment can leave few signs of buildings from decades ago, let alone hundreds or thousands of years. So you may well wonder what on earth we're doing in the middle of London, and what there could possibly be to see here.
You'd be right. Absolutely nothing.
That's where we were the other day.
Yeah, almost nothing. There is something here, unnoticed by passers-by, and all trace of its importance long forgotten. In here is the London Stone.
There we are, see?
We don't know its origin.
That's what I was hoping to show you. I was hoping to go inside the sports shop and show you the actual London Stone, and that is there, is the London Stone. And you see where the guy's face is there? That's where we were, looking in on it. Well, the glass looks a bit cleaner there.
But we do know that it's been here for a long time, and it's actually part of a much bigger stone that was broken here in the 18th century. We also know that it's been moved back and forth across the road in the last few hundred years. But a few possible clues remain in folklore. There are stories that say that it was once part of a stone circle on this site. Others say that it was the pillar, or the top of a pillar, in Brutus's palace.
The stone circle, of course, being the one at Ludgate Hill, which is supposedly lies up on just a few hundred yards from where this stone is today. And as I said, there may be many cities, modern cities, post-Illuminati cities, sorry, Illuminati-era cities built over the top of ancient pre-Illuminati sites.
It's also reputedly the stone to which all measurements were made to London. So if you see a milestone that says London 27 miles, it's to here.
I thought it was Trafalgar Square. And there it is. That piece of oolitic limestone no one knows much about. That's what it used to be in that little shop thing there, see? Sportex gone now.
There are thousands upon thousands.
Right, that's it now. I should also apologise for the quality of this film, or at least the location I'm shooting it in, because you see, what I wanted to do originally, I had plans to go, when I'd finished shooting at Hilly Fields, I had plans to go to the Docklands and film there. Unfortunately that wasn't possible because basically time was against us. It was getting late. It was about 5 o'clock by then, so the rush hour was underway, and well, the rush hour in London, it's hopeless. I mean, there's people everywhere, there's traffic, there's, you know, I was hoping to, you know, just do a little bit of walking around here, do some shots, shooting, say what I've got to say, come home uploaded. Or maybe I was hoping to shoot from the Docklands Light Railway, because the Docklands Light Railway is a little train that's unmanned. It doesn't have a driver, so it's just passenger compartments all round, and you can sit at the front and look out. And I had all sorts of jokes planned, like, "Hey, Hapanmo TV viewers, I've got a new job. I'm a train driver," but didn't work out, like I said. Well, basically, the point I wanted to make was you go from Hilly Fields on the Docklands Light Railway back from Lewisham back into the centre of central London, and you pass this incredibly grand architecture. And so what I'm going to do is, as soon as we're not there ourselves, I'm just going to take you around there online, on the online images, and you see all these various pictures, you see, of this kind of architecture, these kind of huge monstrous glass and steel skyscrapers, including One Canada Tower, or sorry, One Canada Place, which I showed you on from Hilly Fields. We could see it, the tallest building in Britain. And there we are. So look at that. I mean, it is power personified, or not personified. What's the word? It's power in stone, power and domination. And I came up with a very good phrase to describe this, because I mean, I know you. How many of you have seen my Milton Keynes videos? Look at, you know, the I'll put a link in the description box anyway, if you haven't seen my Milton Keynes videos. But look at that. I mean, this is what I would call Milton Keynes Writ large, and I think that's a phrase that best describes this whole thing. And of course, you go further. I'm not going to go there now, but I might be able to. You go elsewhere in London, and you come to very different kinds of architecture, which are just as grand, and just in a different kind of grandeur. They have an older type feel to them. Not there. You know, they have an older type feel to them, but they are. You get sort of neoclassical kind of imagery. Here we are. Here we are. This has got a Bank of England. You can't get more Illuminati than that, can you? Bank of England. Yeah, this area here. Mansion House. Basically, you see again and again neoclassical images, pillars, these sort of like cornices and statues of Greek and Roman style gods. And that is very strange, because you get like you know, I had a feeling. I was walking one day in the early morning. It was actually when I was, ironically, it was when I was going to one of David Icke's lectures in Brixton. I was walking past Buckingham Palace, at about, it must have been 7:30 in the morning, and I remember thinking to myself, there's no traffic around, right? The traffic was sealed off at that time in the morning. I remember thinking to myself, you could take someone from 2,000 years ago in Rome, during the height of the empire, take them to 2012, drop them in the street outside Buckingham Palace, and they would feel perfectly at home. The architecture would be familiar to them. So what are they trying to say to us in this heart of power in Britain, which is this heart of power in the world? Oh, don't get me. Don't think for one second somehow that USA and China are superpowers and Britain's just an old burnt out superpower. No. Britain is still the leading country in the world. The British Empire is alive and well, and in fact, the British Empire It rules even more of the world than it did when the sun never set on it 200 or 100 years ago. Oh yeah, Britain is still at the heart of the Illuminati power structure in this world. London especially. The New Jerusalem, as they call it. And so they're trying to say basically that this culture that we have today is it holds the legacy of ancient Rome and ancient Greece, and the symbolism as well, which I've only just started to explore, which I've gone into in other films. I'll go into some more. It's basically a huge occult temple. This city of 5 million people. So we've seen basically things. We've seen this city, this Illuminati city, built over the broken remains of pre-Illuminati people and structures. The people were killed, their sacred sites destroyed. The Romans, as I've discussed in other videos, sacked the holy island of Anglesey and destroyed the Druid groves. Now, perhaps here we have an explanation for what we saw at Hilly Fields, the stone circle. This circle it's very obvious to me, to anyone who sees it, and it was obvious in that film, I think, that what you're looking at is a folly. It serves no real purpose except decoration, and you might think it's almost been put there for the sake of somebody's whim, without any thought behind it. The thing is, no, it's not. I mean, the Illuminati don't do meaningless. They don't do coincidental. They don't do trivial. Everything is designed. Everything is intended. I think what we may be looking at, what they may be trying to tell us, is then, and this is the same. The same goes for the stone circle in Milton Keynes and the other things. All right. What we may be looking at is an attempt to frivolise what the pre-Illuminati people took so seriously. The Hillyfield Circle, it's a kind of a very, very, very second-rate and superficial reproduction of a megalithic era pre-Illuminati sacred site that's simply produced as a gimmick for the second Gregorian millennium in the year 2000, that second millennium. And on the one hand, it's both. You see, on the one hand, it is trivial. But it's very triviality is what makes it so significant. They're making a plaything. They're making it look foolish and marginalised. They're belittling the culture that preceded us. It's rather like in America where they have pageants. I don't know if they have pageants where people dress up as Red Indians. They've done similar things more seriously, as in Mount Rushmore. I mean, in Mount Rushmore in South Dakota, there's this mountainside, this cliff face, where they carved the faces of famous presidents into it. Well, Mount Rushmore is a sacred Indian site. So what they're saying is, it's the triumph of the European West, the Illuminati-occupied Western powers over the savages of the Native American Indians. And I think there's a brilliant historian called Michael Wood, who's been on television quite a lot, and he puts it very well. He says that these things, these reproductions of classic Western architecture and art, symbolises the conquest of barbarians by Greeks. Now he says conquest by Greeks, but what he's referring it's sort of about Alexander the Great, because Alexander the Great was Greek, of course, and he was the sort of he created this Western Empire 200 years before the Roman one that covered massive amounts of the world. And I mean, he puts it even better in another film he's got. It's called Conquistadors. You know, and he puts it even better in this. I'm not going to risk full screen this time. I'm just going to go straight on with it. He talks about the triumph of. He talks about the end of sacred times and the triumph of profane times. And listen to this. Just listen.
And so at last, Pizarro looked down on his prize, the city of the Incas, with its great ceremonial square and the huge palaces of the Inca royal clans. It was a turning point in the history of the world.
The Inca believed this place was the navel of the earth. It was the sacred center of the last of the civilizations to arise independently on the planet. And the fall of the city to the Spanish, coming so soon after the fall of Mexico, seems now like the beginning of the end for the traditional civilizations of the world. The end of sacred time, the triumph of profane time.
And isn't that a fact? Isn't that a fact? But now we're in the 21st century. There's no going back in history. You can only go forward. So where will events take us in the 21st century to come, and the ones after it? Well, I don't know. There's no guarantees, but I'm hopeful. I mean, and I think we're living through a crucial era of history right now, an era where the Illuminati are attempting to consolidate the ultimate goal, which they've been working on for 5,000 years. At the same time that free humanity is beginning to seriously fight back against them for the first time ever, in full awareness of who they are and what we are, the power that we have, not only on a political level, but on a spiritual level. David Icke puts it very well. He says there's a turning of the tide, a fork in the road. And in fact, one of his lectures is actually called The Turning of the Tide. Let's see if I can find it. Turning of the Tide. If you can get it. I got a really old VHS of this, right? But I think it's all available free online. Let's have a look. There we are. Turning of the Tide. Yeah, here it is. It's over 2 hours of classic David Icke. And there we are. This whole entire video. Go, David.
It makes vast amounts of money if you're.
It's even got subtitles
and you're also
in
selling a
Russian or some other language. It uses the Cyrillic script. So I feel hopeful. I think we've got chance now. We've got a chance to repair the damage that's done. We've got a chance to fix everything that has happened, however bad it might seem. The culture that rose, destroy the ancient monuments and put things like the Hilly Field stone circle up to make a joke out of what they'd done, to gloat and mock those they killed and that they destroyed. I think despite however bad it looks, a lot of it is bravado. I think deep down the Illuminati know that their time is limited. I think deep down they know that they can't achieve their New World Order. And the reason I think that is because they wouldn't need to brag about it as much as they do. They really wouldn't. So, here's to you. Free humanity. Be strong, be hopeful. Well, thank you for watching this film, The London Stones, by Herpanmo TV. Hospital Porter's Pride and Dignity. Stop the New World Order.